We are continuing our coverage of Science Outcome 9C3 with our look at the risks of human behavior. In this outcome, students will investigate and evaluate potential risks resulting from consumer practices and industrial processes and identify processes used in providing information and setting standards to manage these risks. Introduction. When we use products in our daily lives or when industries produce goods, there are often risks associated with the chemicals and materials involved. These risks can affect our health, the environment, and even the safety of workers. Understanding these risks, how they are managed, and how information is provided to consumers and workers is an important part of making safe choices. Consumer practices refer to the way people use the products at home, such as cleaning supplies, paints, or wood preservatives. Industrial processes are the methods used in factories or businesses to make products, like manufacturing electronics, creating wood, or producing plastics. Both consumer and industrial activities can introduce chemical substances into our environment. Some of these chemicals can be harmful if not handled properly. For example, wood preservatives are used to protect wood from insects and decay. However, many wood preservatives contain chemicals that can be dangerous if inhaled, touched, or ingested. Similarly, cleaning products may contain substances that cause skin irritation or respiratory problems. So how do we evaluate the potential risks? To evaluate risks, scientists and regulatory agencies look at several factors. Toxicity. How harmful is the substance? Toxicity is often measured by the dose required to cause harm. For example, a chemical with a low toxicity might only cause harm if a large amount is used, while a highly toxic chemical can be dangerous in small amounts. Like LD50, smaller values for toxicity are more toxic, more dangerous. Exposure. How likely is it that people or the environment will come into contact with the substance? Exposure can happen through breathing, touching, or swallowing. Sensitivity. Not everyone reacts to chemicals in the same way. Some people, such as children, the elderly, or those with allergies, may be more sensitive to certain substances. For example, someone with asthma may be more affected by fumes from cleaning products than others. Duration and frequency. How long and how often is someone exposed? Short-term exposure might cause mild symptoms, while long-term exposure can lead to serious health problems. Managing risks, information, and standards. To help manage these risks, manufacturers and governments provide information and set standards. Here are some ways this is done. Manufacturers' information. Manufacturers are required to provide instructions and warnings on their products. For example, a can of wood preservative will have a label explaining how to use it safely. This might include wearing gloves and a mask, using the product in a well-ventilated area, keeping the product away from children and pets, washing hands after use. These instructions are based on scientific studies about the risks of the chemicals involved. It is important to read and follow these instructions to reduce the risk of harm. Safety data sheets. For industrial purposes, companies provide safety data sheets, sometimes called Material Safety Data Sheets, or MSDS. These documents explain the chemical ingredients, potential health effects, safe handling and storage, what to do in case of a spill or exposure. Workers are trained to read and understand SDS so they can protect themselves and others. Government regulations and standards. Governments set standards to limit how much of a chemical can be used or released into the environment. For example, Health Canada and Environment and Climate Change Canada regulate chemicals to protect public health and the environment. They may ban certain substances, limit their use, or require special labeling. One example is the regulation of pesticides. Only certain pesticides are allowed, and they must be used according to strict guidelines. This helps prevent harm to people, animals, and ecosystems. Recognizing individual sensitivity. It is important to recognize that some people are more sensitive to chemicals than others. For example, someone with allergies may react to a cleaning product that is safe for most people. Children are often more vulnerable because their bodies are still developing. Pregnant women may also need to avoid certain chemicals. Manufacturers sometimes include warnings for sensitive groups. For example, a product might say, "Not recommended for use by people with respiratory conditions." If you know you are sensitive to certain substances, it is important to check labels and ask questions before using a product. In conclusion, investigating and evaluating risks from consumer practices and industrial processes is essential for protecting health and safety. By understanding toxicity, exposure, sensitivity, and duration, we can make informed choices. Manufacturers and governments provide information and set standards to help manage these risks. Always read labels, follow instructions, and be aware of your own sensitivity to chemicals. If you are unsure about a product, ask a trusted adult or look for more information from reliable sources. By doing so, we can reduce risks and keep ourselves and our communities safe. Time to check for understanding. What is the primary purpose of setting standards for industrial processes? Is it to enhance product appearance, to ensure safety and minimize risks, to increase production speed, or to reduce costs? Pause if you need more time. It is to ensure safety and minimize risks. Which of the following is a potential risk of not following manufacturer's instructions for applying wood preservatives? Would it be enhanced color of the wood, faster drying time, health hazards to users, or increased wood durability? Pause now if you need more time. Health hazards to users would be the potential risks. Why is it important to recognize that some individuals may have greater sensitivity to chemical substances? To ensure everyone uses the same amount of chemicals, to increase chemical production, to provide personalized safety guidelines, or to reduce the cost of chemicals. Pause now if you need more time. It's to provide personalized safety guidelines. What information is typically included in a manufacturer's safety instructions for chemical products? Would it be customer reviews, history of the company, price of the product, or steps for safe application? You might find them all in there in some of these manuals, but the most likely one, pause if you need more time, steps for safe application is the one you can depend on. The rest are inconsistent, partly because they're largely irrelevant. How can consumers evaluate the potential risks associated with a new cleaning product? By ignoring the safety labels, by reading and understanding the safety data sheet, by testing it on a large area first, or by using more than the recommended amount. Pause if you need more time. By reading and understanding the safety data sheet. The full sheet used in the lab and in industry is not necessarily with the package, but they can generally be found on company websites. If you have any questions or feedback, please please leave them in the comments, and I will try to respond in a timely fashion.